Hi there, everybody. Welcome to our weekly event, Shine On Sundays with Deanna Nichols. I am your Blue Diamond admin here in the group, and I just want to take a quick moment before I get started to let you all know how proud I am of some progress that I have seen over the past few months in this group. So, to be honest with you, there's been a little buzz around doTERRA about some things that had been going on in this group, and how there was quite a bit of negativity, and we weren't sure whether this group was really serving its purpose, which was to help encourage one another, share ideas, give you some mentoring. And so some really awesome ladies got together and they invited me to be a part of it, which I'm so grateful for. And we decided to really sort of revamp the mission of our group and the way we did things here. And lots of diamonds jumped on board and provided you with weekly mentoring. I hope you know about that. It's happening on Wednesdays, called Wednesday Wisdom. And then your other admins have also agreed to pop in once a week to give you some mentoring on different topics and just encouragement and ideas, and make sure that you're feeling like you're supported. And you are so important to us. You're so important to all of doTERRA, and we're extremely proud of what we've seen in the group here. Just the overall the general feel of the group has been much more positive and encouraging. And I hope that you're taking part in these Shine On Sunday segments. Every Sunday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, we take a few minutes to celebrate you. And your Diamonds and Above have nominated many of you. I believe we have nominations going well into 2019 for premiers and silvers on their team that really shine. And we take a moment to interview that person and just talk with them about their story, their why. And so, hey, Valerie, it's so good to see you. Hey, Celeste. Bridget's here. Tonight we had one scheduled for you, and then one of the upline who nominated our person actually had a death in the family and had a funeral to go to and was not able to be live on the video. So tonight I decided to bring you a few thoughts instead, and I hope that you'll bear with me. I know this wasn't quite what was scheduled, but I think that these are some thoughts that are going to encourage you along the way. If you see something or hear something here that is encouraging to you, please make a comment. And I've been doing something new lately just to encourage participation on the videos. Whether you're watching live or watching the replay for the next 24 hours here, you will be entered into a drawing to win a free 10-minute live with me for your team. And it's going to be on whatever topic that you choose, business or product, and it's just simply there as a way to serve you. It's not about me or promoting myself. It's just there to be an encouragement to you. So you let me know what topic you need, and I'll hop in and encourage your team for you. So just stop in and comment, and you'll be entered, and we'll contact you to let you know if you won, all right? So for the next few minutes, I want to talk to you about something that occurred to me the other day. Every Wednesday, my husband and I and my son, we do family day. So we don't work at all on Wednesdays. We love doing it on a weekday because we've created that lifestyle in doTERRA where we can make our own schedules. And on Wednesdays, we just call it family day. And places that where you like to go and hang out during the daytime are much less crowded on weekdays. And so it's just more fun to do it in the middle of the week. So Wednesday's family day. And so this week, we've had a really odd weather pattern here in Virginia this year. And normally like the second week in October is the best time to go look at the fall leaves at the Shenandoah National Park. And it's called Skyline Drive. People from all over the world come to see the beautiful drive full of leaves and the colors. But we tried it a couple weeks ago, and there was like no colors because we've had no cold weather. But what happened is we decided to go back, and it was the last day of the month, and so I think it was, or maybe it was this past week, but it was much later than normal, and the colors were just amazing and beautiful. So we decided to take a hike on one of the trails. And I'm an avid hiker and have hiked almost all of the national parks in the US. And I actually had a pretty terrible car accident last year and have had some major setbacks physically. So I've been working hard to try to get back on track. And so I knew I couldn't do a big hike, but I thought, I can really try a pretty decent hike. So here we are, my husband and I and our 4-year-old, we're hiking on the trail, and I'm starting to have a really, really hard time. The trail started to go completely vertical. There were huge drop-offs on either side, lots of rocks to walk across. And we meet a girl coming down, and she's carrying a backpack, and she looks like this really fit, avid hiker, And so my husband says, how much further do you think it is? And is the path ahead difficult? And she looked at us kind of like, I don't know if you guys are going to make it. Like, that was the look that she gave us. She's like, it's pretty tough. And I'm like, no, no, we can do it. We can do it. So we trudged on, and I was really starting to feel tired. Like my legs were feeling sort of jello-y, and I was stepping wrong on the rocks. And I mean, it was just going straight up, super slippery. We've had lots of rain. And I started to have these thoughts, and I thought, gosh, this is so much like my journey in doTERRA that I want to share this with people. And so I'm going to tell you what this message that I got from my hike the other day that was so applicable, I think, to many of you in your journey. So at some point in your journey in doTERRA, you are going to want to stop moving forward. Okay? Stop moving forward. Sometimes in your head, it can sound like you're taking a break. It can sound like you're just, slowing down, taking a shift. We call it lots of different things, but it is, in a sense, it is a stop in your growth pattern, because anytime you're not moving, we learned in basic science class in middle school that objects in motion tend to stay in motion, right? And so when we stop, we think we're taking a break, and oftentimes it leads to actually moving backwards, falling back. And you'll see, you'll see it all the time in people that say, well, I've hit platinum, but I've been hitting premier, or I've hit diamond, but I've been hitting gold. I used to have my 1500 power 3, but now I barely get my 50. And the reason those things happen, for the most part, is because at some point we made the decision to stop moving forward. And here are 3 times when, if you're wondering, like, is this a good time to stop moving forward? I'm going to tell you 3 times that I can guarantee you that it's going to stop your growth if you can stop moving forward, okay? So the first time is when the path is getting tough. This can happen at many points in your doTERRA journey. For some of you, I feel like if you've made it to Premier or Silver, you made it past that initial tough spot most of the time. I mean, if you built yourself and put in your own effort to get to Premier or Silver, you already had that initial resistance where you decided you're going to do doTERRA as a business, and then you had people kind of raise their eyebrows like, really? You're going to do network marketing? Or you had the people that told you no in the beginning when you thought everyone was going to want the oils, and you had your chance to quit before you started. But it's important for you to know that as you're helping others get started, some people don't make it past that point. But even if they do make it past that point, there will be many other times in your journey where things are going to get tough. You're going to meet this little friend that I like to call resistance. Resistance comes in a lot of different forms. It can come in the form of a health problem. It can come in the form of financial issues. It can come in the form of relationship issues. It can be relationships in your business, relationships in your family. It can be that your car breaks down, you can lose your job, lots of different things happen. And sometimes people, when they meet resistance, they think, oh, this is a sign that I should stop what I'm doing. Like God, who we like to sometimes blame for things, God is trying to show me that I'm on the wrong path. Well, sometimes God's trying to show you that the things that are worth doing are going to require you to overcome some obstacles. And so if you know what your why is, if you know why you're doing this and your why is big enough, when you meet that resistance, you will have the courage and fortitude to push through it. When you push through resistance, you know what's on the other side is victory. Every single time that I've had major resistance come up for me in my doTERRA journey, and it's happened many times along the path, whether it was on the way to Diamond or whether it was on the way to Blue Diamond or on the way to Presidential Diamond, there has been multitudes of times where I've met resistance. And I can tell the times in my business where I was able to push through resistance and where I allowed resistance to cause me to stop moving forward. And I can tell by the results, the growth of my team, or the setbacks in my team's growth, of the times that I stopped moving forward. Because as the leader, I set the pace, I set the tone. And when I am using resistance as my reason or my excuse to stop moving forward because things got tough, I can say, I'm taking a break because I need to focus on my health. And that's okay sometimes to go at a little bit slower pace, because you need to do that. For me, I used to do this business like practically full time. And at some point I realized that I needed to slow down my pace and enjoy the time when my son was little. We had infertility for 15 years. And then shortly after starting to use the doTERRA products faithfully, we found out we were expecting and had our son, and we ran to Diamond, and we reached Diamond just before our son was born. And I realized like I wanted to enjoy his childhood. I didn't want to just constantly be running. So I set myself certain work hours that that I was actually going to focus on my business. And then I really tried my best to stick to that. And so that's not the same thing as not moving forward. I'm talking about like some things happen and you meet some resistance and you just stop enrolling people. I mean, have you enrolled anyone this month? Have you enrolled anyone the last 90 days? You can tell if you've actually stopped moving forward. And so you can also look and see if your team has stopped moving forward, or if one of your qualifiers in your team has stopped moving forward, because you can tell if are they constantly enrolling, are they ranking up, are they reaching their power of 3, is their organization volume growing, and the same thing for you. You can kind of get real by looking at the numbers and see, have I stopped moving forward? And so the time to not stop moving forward is when things are tough, because that's a sign that if you just push through, you're actually going to see a really big breakthrough on the other side. And that's been the case for me at every point in my doTERRA journey. The second time when you know that it is not, that it is a wrong time to stop moving forward is when you're tired. And so I was getting pretty tired. My muscles have atrophied quite a bit in the past year. Right before my accident, I had trained for a 5K and I was in some really good shape for me. And I was really struggling and having a difficult time. And my husband looked over and said, you know, do you want to stop? Do you want to stop here and go and head back? And I'm like, no, I just need to take a minute, get my breath, and I'm going to keep on going. But the temptation is when you're tired and when you've worked really hard. You know, I at that point, I had already hiked a really nice long hike. I'd seen a lot of amazing things, and I could have just said, you know what, that was a good effort. Let's turn around and go back. But I knew that even if I stopped for just a minute, it would be so much harder to start moving again. So my husband often uses this illustration when you're building your business, that momentum is something that you lose when you stop moving, because momentum is where like you've already worked really hard to get that car rolling. So for those of you that had a similar background to me, I always had a really, really beat up old car. When I was a teenager, when I was in college and I had my first job, I had a $300 car. I think it was a Dodge Aries that I drove that I paid $300 for. And so it wasn't the most reliable car. And so sometimes I had problems with it. And if you've ever been at a stoplight or something and your car just wouldn't go and everyone's behind you honking their horn and you're like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? I'm here by myself in my car. And so you decide to start pushing your car. And then a couple of guys see you, oh, you're a girl by yourself pushing your car, and they're like, oh gosh, we should really help her. So they jump up and they start pushing the car. And with like 4 or 5 people pushing the car, it's okay for you to get back in and then the car will keep rolling. But if I don't keep that car moving, if I let it come to a stop again, I'm going to have to find 4 new guys to stop and get out of their cars and push my car again. So you just have to keep it moving. It doesn't take as much to keep it moving once you've had that push. But what I see a lot of us do in doTERRA is we make this push and we're like, I'm going to enroll 15 people this month, and then I'm really tired, and so I'm going to take a break. And 30 days turns into 90 days, turns into 120 days, and pretty soon all those people that you enrolled 3, 4, 6 months ago aren't ordering anymore, and you're not even back at the rank that you reached that month when you did that big push. And so you have to start back over again and start creating that momentum again. And so instead of doing that when you're tired, you can slow down just a bit, but you gotta keep moving, taking the basic steps. Like the most basic step that you can take when you need to slow down is to enroll somebody every single month. Do a presentation, at least one every single week. Do your IPEs, no matter what's going on. That's the basic income producing activities. You never want to stop doing those, because when you stop doing those, you lose your momentum and you stop moving forward. The third time that I see people, and I've been tempted and have succumbed in my own doTERRA journey to stop moving forward, is when you reach a milestone. I sort of alluded to that a moment ago, that, you know, when you reach this big milestone, you're just like, okay, whew, I like barely made silver. Like I only had to buy in 22 PV to to reach silver. I had to buy like a bottle of like Whisper to hit my goal. And it was a 200 PV month, and doTERRA was selling dream kits. But I am sure that if I take a break and celebrate my victory the whole next month, that I will hit silver again. Well, you have to realize that on a normal month, we don't have all of those promos lining up perfectly. It might just be a month where people are going to place smaller orders. So if you don't know this, the average order in doTERRA is 135 PV. Okay, so if you are enrolling people and have a bunch of enrollments one month, with maybe the Home Essentials Kit, 225 points, then you have to take into account that those people are likely to spend closer to 135, their second order. So that means you got to enroll more people to maintain the rank that you just hit and to keep moving forward. And so sometimes when we hit that milestone, we actually think it's time to take a nice break and go on vacation for 3 weeks or 2 months, or, now I'm going to just manage the team that I created. But the thing is that is going to stop you from moving forward, and you're going to lose that momentum that we talked about. So if you're wondering when it is a good time to stop moving forward, those are 3 times that I know that it is a bad idea to stop moving forward. Once you've made a really big push with your team, take a day and definitely celebrate your victories. Even if you didn't quite reach your goal, but you just had this amazing effort put together by your team. You just saw people come out and do presentations, and you saw people come out and enroll people, and your team showed up, but you didn't quite hit your goal. I want you to still take a moment, a day, an evening out with your team to celebrate your wins. Always celebrate your wins. Don't gloss over those. In my journey in the early days, I really didn't take a lot of time to celebrate my wins. And that's something that I really want to improve upon. And that's one of the reasons why we do this video every week for you. We want to celebrate the fact that some of you've reached Premier and Silver. That's a big deal. That's a very small percentage of people in all of network marketing that have reached those levels of income. And so we definitely want to celebrate that. But we celebrate it, and then we get back out there and we do it all again, right? Because we wake up in the morning on the first of the month and we're all consultants again. And we have a chance to make the most of that 30 days that's ahead of us. And you know that what you do today results in what happens in 2 to 3 weeks from now. So you don't have 2 to 3 weeks to take a break and celebrate for 2 to 3 weeks of inactivity. And then suddenly, oh my gosh, like, it's the last week of the month, I better do an event. If your goal is to constantly be moving forward and constantly be seeing consistent growth, and to supplement or replace your income in doTERRA, move on past Premier and Silver, then you want to take the moment, take the day, take the evening to celebrate your victory, but you never want to stop moving forward. So I hope that that's been an encouragement to you. If you heard something that was encouraging, or you have a question or comment, please share it. And again, we'll randomly draw someone to win a 10-minute live with me, with your group, somewhere in your Facebook group for builders or product users. I'm happy to share some encouragement and wisdom that will help. Sometimes it's helpful for your team to hear from someone they don't know on another team, and I'm more than happy to give back in the way that other leaders have done for me on my journey. So thank you for watching. Have an amazing weekend. Shine your light, shine it big, shine it wherever you go. Have a good night. Shine on.